First, the antithesis of those values. This, I want to play just two quick quotes that I think are fundamentally the opposite of American values. This is from BBC, and it's I don't have the guy's name any longer. I'm sorry. This is from 2011. But it was, in fact, it's from July 27th, 2011, on the BBC. But it was an investor, professional stockbroker guy, saying, we love recessions. Now, keep in mind, during the recession, hundreds of thousands of people lost their homes. People committed suicide, divorces, lives were ruined. Children grew up in poverty, and a generation was lost because of the recession. Here is how the quote, free marketers, and the Republican Party is filled with them. Here's how they think of this.
For most traders, it's not about, that we don't really care that much how they're going to fix the economy, how they're going to fix the whole situation.
We don't care.
Our job is to make money from it.
Yeah.
And personally, I've been dreaming of this moment for 3 years. I had a confession, which is I go to bed every night. I dream of another recession. I dream of another moment like this. Why? Because people don't seem to maybe remember, but the 30s depression, the depression in the 30s, wasn't just about a market crash. There were some people who were prepared to make money from that crash. And I think anybody can do that. It isn't just for some people in the elite. Anybody can actually make money. It's an opportunity.
No, actually, it is just for some people in the elite. I know he felt like he had to throw that in, but now the flip side of that is what Franklin Roosevelt said about when people with that kind of insane mentality get in charge of our government.
We had to struggle with the old enemies of peace, business and financial monopoly, speculation, reckless banking, class antagonism, sectionalism, war profiteering. They had begun to consider the government of the United States as a mere appendage to their own affairs. And we know now that government by organized money is just as dangerous as government by organized mob.
There you go. And, government by organized money. And he talks about how, they had started to think of the government as now, he was talking about the Roaring '20s. He's talking about the Harding, Coolidge, Hoover administrations, where, they had dropped the top tax rate down to 25%. They had deregulated the banks. They had deregulated the trading. They had deregulated all kinds of things. I mean, Harding's campaign slogan in 1920 was less government and business, more business and government. Privatize and deregulate. And, of course, cut taxes. They did it, and we know the results. And this is, Franklin Roosevelt pointing out this. John Kennedy, once again, what does it mean to be a liberal? Well, also, what does it mean to be a Democrat? These are the things. This is, we're getting ready for the party. It's going to be next month, but we're getting ready for the party convention, the month after next, actually. And these are the issues, frankly, that are on the table that we should be talking about. I find it absurd. I mean, I'm watching three different TV screens. I got, of course, Free Speech TV and MSNBC and CNN, and everybody's talking about, Donald Trump, a guy who's been married 3 times, who offered to pay for the abortion for his mistress, who became his second wife, but was pregnant before that. Who is now the family values guy because he's attacking Hillary Clinton, who has been married for 40 years. Yeah, she put up with some crap from her husband, but, that happens in marriages. It happens in at least half of all marriages. And he's going to be some kind of, it's insane. But in any case, the reason I went off on that rant is all I'm seeing in the media is this kind of nonsense about who's a bully, who's a fool, who's an idiot. I want to know about the issues. I want to know about the real issues. And here's John Kennedy speaking, this was when he was running for president in 1960, and he was speaking to the Liberal Party in New York State. New York State has fusion voting, so you could vote for the Democratic candidate via the Liberal Party or via other parties. And here he is.
What do our opponents mean when they apply to us the label liberal? If by liberal they mean, as they want people to believe, someone who is soft in his policies abroad, who is against local government, and who is unconcerned with the taxpayer's dollar, then the record of this party and its members demonstrate that we are not that kind of liberal. But if by a liberal they mean someone who looks ahead and not behind, someone who welcomes new ideas without rigid reactions, someone who cares about the welfare of the people, their health, their housing, their schools, their jobs, their civil rights and their civil liberties, someone who believes that we can break through the stalemate and suspicions that grip us in our policies abroad. If that is what they mean by a liberal, then I'm proud to say that I'm a liberal.
There you go, Jack Kennedy. I'm proud to say that I'm a liberal. I mean, this is not, you know, something just like totally radically new. In fact, L.B.J., this was, of course, in the context, I believe this was in the context of the civil rights struggle, but L.B.J. was talking about every generation faces these struggles. And the millennials right now are facing some really serious struggles brought about by 35 years of Reaganomics that have just destroyed the life for everybody in the bottom 90%. And here's L.B.J., Lyndon Johnson, who, yeah, I was out on the streets going, L.B.J., hey, L.B.J., how many kids did you kill today? We're very upset about the Vietnam War. But his Great Society programs were the logical next step in the New Deal, and they were brilliant, and they cut poverty in half in the United States, more or less, and over the next decade. Here's Lyndon Johnson talking about this.
That struggle was a turning point in our history. Today, in far corners of distant continents, the ideals of those American patriots still shape the struggles of men who hunger for freedom. This is a proud triumph. Yet those who founded our country knew that freedom would be secure only if each generation fought to renew and enlarge its meaning.
There you go. And in Johnson's lifetime, the way that we renewed and enlarged the meaning of freedom was to say, okay, it's not just a country for white people anymore, basically, which is how things had been. I mean, we're going to make things more inclusive. There's also this issue of the banksters. What are we going to do about the banksters? Well, Franklin Roosevelt, I mean, obviously Glass-Steagall was passed during his administration. He had some very clear thoughts about it, but he also used the bully pulpit very effectively. When he wanted legislation passed, he went to the American people and raised hell. Here's Franklin Roosevelt on the banksters.
There must be an end to speculation with other people's money.
There you go. I mean, just very, very straightforward. And in fact, then he goes to this.
And finally, in our progress towards a resumption of work, we require two safeguards against a return of the evils of the old order. There must be a strict supervision of all banking and credits and investments. There
you go. I mean, are you noticing a theme here? These are Democrats talking about the Democratic Party and what the Democratic Party is all about. Now, occasionally Democrats would talk about Republicans. Here's F.D.R. talking about the Republicans.
Let me warn you, and let me warn the nation, against the smooth evasion that says, of course we believe these things. We believe in social security. We believe in work for the unemployed. We believe in saving homes. Cross our hearts and hope to die. We believe in all these things. But we do not like the way the present administration is doing them. Just turn them over to us. We will do all of them. We will do more of them. We will do them better. And most important of all, the doing of them will not cost anybody anything.
Right. Republican perfidy, as it were. And this is how much time do we have, Shane? We got about 40 seconds. Well, this is a little more than 40 seconds. So let's see here. I wanted to share some F.D.R. clips on taxes here. Here's the first one.
But in the barrage that we laid down against the Depression, we could not stop firing to haggle about the price of every shell. We kept on firing and fighting. And the important thing is that the war is being won.
Okay, so that's the war he's talking about there is the Great Depression. And here is another. Yeah, actually, we're out of time. I don't have time for this. So we'll have more when we come back. Well, stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann. Visit ThomHartmann.com for audio and video archives.
I would submit to you that the core values of the Democratic Party that we're going through here are the core values of America.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.